Good morning, good morning, good morning. For those of you guys that don't know me, I am Torrin Darling Brazel, founder, CEO, and president of Ignite, an organization that I started back in 2019 simply to be the change that I so desperately needed to see in the Black community. And I am super excited because today we're going to have a conversation that is important to us all. How are we going to get to this money? Right? How do we fund our startup businesses? How do we fund our existing businesses? How do we really look and have the hard conversations and decide if what we are doing or thought we wanted to do is really the best way? Right. And so I have my good friend here, Tory Shumpert. Tory, welcome to the party. How you doing?
Thank you for having me today. I'm excited. I'm doing well. No
So
complaints.
I know all about you and your awesomeness, but can you take a second to share with our viewing audience a little bit about who you are and
Okay.
why you are such the expert to help us today in this particular conversation around funding?
Wow. That's a strong word, expert. I'm a lifelong learner, so I'm becoming an expert. I'm always becoming an expert because information is ever changing. But thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm Tory Shumpert. I'm part of the University of Alabama, part of the Apex Accelerator Alabama team, which means I help people with local, state, and federal contracting. I'm the guy that you come to when you want to learn how to register to be able to bid on upcoming contracts with your local municipality, with your county, with your state, and the federal government. So I'm also a former business owner, uh, marketing consultant. I just try to be a jack of several trades, not all of them.
I love it. So out of all of your accomplishments and your accolades, the one that I really want to hone in on and the one to me that qualifies you best for this conversation is that you are an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
And it so Tori, we and y'all, this is gonna be a real conversation. So I'm telling you, you really do need to get your ink pen. You really do need to get your notepad. You really do need to get your cherry coke or whatever your particular drug of choice is. This is gonna be a real conversation because y'all, things are not getting better for us as a people, right?
No.
And I have committed the rest of my life, Tori, to change this, right?
Mhm.
But there are a few things that I have learned. So let me tell you about me. I am a nonprofit professional now that has been serving literally 26 years, right? I've been in executive leadership for 20 of those. The last 21 of those. The last 5 years, though, I actually have been running and operating my own nonprofit. Prior to that, I was always an amazing number two. So, what I knew as a nonprofit professional of almost 30 years, right? I'm realizing was totally wrong. And so I'm having to shift my thought, right? I'm having to unlearn a lot that I thought I knew, right? And learn the things that I need to know and make the shifts and do things that as a nonprofit, I never even thought we ever had to do. I'm also having to look and to understand that, you know, like for example, grants. Most nonprofits think that you get that 501c3 determination from the IRS, and all of a sudden, this opens you up to a backyard full of trees full of money, right? This is supposed to be so easy. No, it is not. But one of the biggest things that I've learned is okay, grants alone are not sustainable. You have to look at how do you diversify the funding that's coming in. Another really big aha moment, Tori, is that everything that I've been doing as a nonprofit, I could have and I should have been doing as a for profit,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And so now I am literally taking all the different parts of the nonprofit that I can and spinning it off into for profit companies. Right now, it's two that has come out of everything I've been doing the last 5 years. It's two different for profit companies, right? And
Mhm.
in looking at that, I'm like, okay, so how do we really make sure that this is sustainable? A lot of the things that I thought, that we were doing, I realized, okay, that's not going to help us make money.
Mhm.
Right. So we've got to sit that to the side because y'all, we don't work for free. So for those of you guys that are out there and you are, as small business owners, you are your business. When you're first getting started, your business is like biggest supporter, right? There is no such thing as business credit. You are your business credit because you personally have to guarantee, right? Any loan application you go after and all the things. But Tori, what you've really tapped into and why I invited you here today has been major because you started talking about all the opportunities, all the things that we never even think of or imagine. And I really want to spend some time and give you
Okay.
opportunity to just start dropping the game. Listen, while they out here playing in these streets, I need you to understand I got my notebook,
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
right?
ma'am.
I got my ink pen because it
Okay.
may be some things that we about to do over here as well. So if
Okay.
y'all know like I know, you better get in position.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Um, first of all, I think it's wonderful that when you were saying that you're the guarantor of the loans that you take out. Now that is if you're a LLC, which most businesses that are started as sole proprietors, that's what they are. They're LLCs, and a lot of times we do that because that's what we see, and it looks good, and it's got the fancy name of limited liability. So we're thinking that it protects us from being sued, from our personal assets being touched. But a limited liability company, although it's easier to set up, it's easy to tear down. It's a pass through, meaning that your personal information, your personal credit is being used as the guarantee for that business, and it means that if it's not structured properly, whereas your assets for your personal and that business never touch, never mix, if someone wants to come after you through that LLC, because it is a pass through, legally they can pass right through and still hold you liable. It's limited liability, not no liability. So that's one thing. That's one misnomer that we need to clear up. You're touchable when you have a LLC. Business credit really. To say that a business has credit, that's a corporation. We're looking at the larger corporations that have built up their own autonomous, their own identity, and they're totally separated from that sole proprietor, that partnership. They are totally a different entity, and they have built up their own credit. Most of our small minority businesses that I've come in contact with. Let me speak from my point of view that I've come in contact with are LLCs and very legally touchable when it comes to liability, because they have been set up using our money, and uh, too many times our money flows through them. We're not taking the proper fiduciary steps to separate those things where our we're actually being paid like an employee. We're not mixing money, we're not mixing expenses, we're doing everything appropriately. But what I want to talk about today is some of the ways that we're leaving meat on the bone, as grandma used to say. We're leaving food on the table. Stop chasing trendy businesses that you have no expertise in, or stop chasing passion projects and saying, I'm going to turn my passion project into a business. Everything that looks good to you is not good for you. Everything that's trending doesn't mean that it's where you should operate. We have to learn to operate timely and with purpose and expertise for what's meant for our life. I don't think that a lot of businesses, I'm talking from a place where I did this. You go out and join some multi-level marketing, which if that's for you, that's for you. But you go out and join something because somebody walked up to you on the street and said, "Hey, I made $500 last month doing this. You should do this too." What kind of sales pitch is that? What kind of research are we doing because our cousin or a friend or a stranger said, "Hey, come to this meeting. You should take a look at this. This is really taking off." Yes, it is. It's taking off for the founders and the first 3% of people, market penetration, that jumped in. The people who are the apex at the very top of it, but you're number 12,000 in the state of Alabama, and you think that this is going to solidify a business opportunity for you when you've been approached by 15 different people over the last 3 months that are doing the same thing. That should let you know that the market penetration is so great at that point. There's not enough of meat left on the bone for any person to make a killing except the people who are elevated to some top level of regional, or they're at the very top. If I've got to get into a business and I can't get paid unless the people on my right leg are doing this and the people on my left leg are doing this. If I'm selling cars, do you think that I have to account for, well, that car only came off the left side of the parking lot. Well, that car came off of the right. When there's too many regulations about how you can actually make your commissions, that lets you know somebody other than you are getting paid.
Absolutely. And so,
It's not rolling downhill.
Tori, you're really tapping in. But what I want to do, because that's getting into the mindset, right? And the bottom line is there is no get quick rich anything.
No.
And the process is the process, right?
Yes.
And whether we
Yes, it
do it
is.
or not, like, that doesn't change. That is the pathway to your success. So let's roll it down, right?
Okay.
So whether we are already in the middle of business or we're just getting started, right?
Okay.
But we need to make some money. We need to make some money. So what do we do? What are
Find
some of
out
the
where the gaps in
opportunities that
service.
are out there?
Find out where the gaps in service are. Find out what's needed, even if it's not the flashy, sexy thing that's so exciting. Find out the general things that people need. My uncle, who was also in business, used to say, "Look in your cabinets in your closet and find out what you frequently buy, what you spend. Find out how and who makes it. Find out what it costs. And if it's something that's hard to get that everybody needs, do that thing." Everybody doesn't need this trending thing that will only be a hot item for the next 6 months.
So let's drill down on that a little bit.
Okay.
What are because one of the things that, I would love for particularly Black businesses to tap into
Hmm.
is, going after various contracts, right?
Okay.
Because grants, like as a professional grant writer, right? Been doing this crap for too long.
Okay.
What I realize is that when you're going after grants, so typically they may see, something on these different sites,
Hmm.
$25,000 here, 10,000 there, whatever. That's really like playing the lottery, right?
Yes, it
And you're
is.
going to have thousands of people that are going after that little bit of money. So you
Yes.
really are not going to have a really good chance at getting that yes. Now, you do have to apply, because the only way that you can get a no is if you don't apply. But
Correct.
but what I found, and this is what people don't like to hear, but y'all listen up, because this is the truth and I'm going to keep saying it. When you're going after grants, you have to submit 100 requests in order to just get a possible 10 yeses. But
Yes.
those 90 no's are normal. And Tori, the time that it takes for us to put together the 90 that got, denied, it's the same time it takes us to put together the 10 that we got a yes for. And that's the
Yes.
reason why in a few weeks I'm going to be doing a free grant writing workshop to show
Mhm.
people how to position their selves to be able to take what used to take. And literally somebody I helped literally after going through 4 hours. So I'm going to do 2 sessions, 2 hours each time, and really drill down and help make sure before this year ends. So make sure you drop your email in the chat, or actually, you know what? I'm gonna stop doing the work. I want you to go to our website, www.igniteal.org. Again, that is www.igniteal.org, and make sure you sign up for our email list. And when I do that free grant writing workshop, you're going to be able to jump in and be notified so that I can show you how to position yourself to actually literally write and submit most grants within 30 minutes instead of 2 to 3 weeks. And I literally had somebody, Tori, after I worked with him, that he said he now is able to knock these grants out. I helped him do 2. After that, he went and did 5 more without me. And he literally is getting them done in 30 minutes or less. And he said it used to take him 2 to 3 weeks. So we're going to do that part, right? But the contracts, the reason why I want for us to drill in, number one, what are the different opportunities that you've seen as it relates to contracts? Like, what are the things that the government, right, and other suppliers you've seen? What are they looking for? And then we'll tell them how they can position themselves. And that's where your day job is going to come in play,
Okay.
where they can
Okay.
register so that they can really get positioned to get those contracts. Because one thing I'll never forget, and hopefully this will jumpstart it for you, is that there was a lot of infrastructure money that came through in the state of Alabama, and the Department of Transportation was desperately looking for Black vendors, and they were hoping to find somebody. All they needed was just the little dashes, the paint dashes, the lines on the interstates, right? They had to go to Mississippi to find a Black vendor to be able to do some work, right? And so when you talk about something that's not sexy, but that's a lot of money, right? And so I want to just tag it to you for you to
Okay.
share some of the
Okay.
opportunities that are out there when you say it might not be sexy, but there are
Right. Right.
things
Right.
out here that people need and they're looking for.
All right. So first, let's make a let's put a pin right there that there's there's federal contracts for highway, and then a lot of times you need to go to your state procurement site for uh those highway contracts. So that may have been, depending on where it was, it may have been through ALDOT, ALDOT, Alabama Department of Transportation. And to get some of those, there's a minority designation called a DBE, disadvantaged business entity enterprise, and you can get that by going through the Birmingham airport to get your DBE. Once you're certified through the DBE, which is going through a portal, it's putting in all of your information factually, uh, and being vetted, then you'll start to see those DBE opportunities through the Department of Transportation. That's everything from the FAA, anything that is transported. That's not just your highways, that's your airways. So you can register to be a DBE in the state of Alabama, and it's free. It's free. We should get these things because we need to stay ready for these opportunities. What happens is we will see something on a procurement board, be it sam.gov, be it DIBS, Alabama procurement, Alabama buys, And then we'll try to go out and get those things needed to secure that contract. It's too late. Somebody that was ready is already bid. Somebody already has a relationship because they've gone out and networked. They've already met up with these different organizations and said, if this ever pops up, I want to be your guy or your lady, whomever. When you see an opportunity pop up on the board, it's like seeing the lottery ticket. It's too late to buy a ticket once the numbers are announced. It's too late to buy the ticket. When the numbers are announced, you need to have bought your ticket and be matching them up. So when the contract comes out, you need to have already prepared. You need to have already registered. You need to already have the equipment. You need to already have the manpower, and you need to be matching your numbers up. Do I have my 5 people? Do I have my 2 trucks? Do I have my LLC or my S Corp or my INC? Do I have my federal certification? Am I woman-owned small business ready? Am I veteran-owned small business ready? Do I live in a hub zone? Can my hand reach in this bucket? Because they have earmarked that project for a particular subset of people.
So, Tori, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because, women, certifications, veteran certifications, all of that makes sense, right?
Yes.
But hub zone, can you help us understand what is a hub zone and what does
Okay.
that mean for us to get that certification?
Hub zone is historically underutilized business area. So geographic areas where the government has decided we haven't put a lot of business funding in this area historically. We haven't done a lot of business in this area historically. These areas have been designated hub zones to say these are target areas where we need to invest more money into those infrastructure things, into those possibilities where contractors and people who are ready to work have been given opportunities to work with the federal government. So Birmingham proper is a hub zone. Selma, Alabama, so many other areas around the state of Alabama and around the country are listed as hub zones. If you go to the hub zone map right now, it will show you where the hub zone is. And if you don't know if the areas on the map cover your address, there's a search bar where you can put your address in and find out if you're in a hub zone. So the hub zone map will let you know what you need, where you need to be. If you go to sba.gov, you can find out, there you go, you can find out how to obtain your hub zone certification. Hub zone is not only geographically where you live or work, it's also the geography of where your people work. So the hub zone is set up to not only help that business that's located there, but people who live in underserved areas. So
So,
you
Tori,
have
I
to have
want
hired.
to,
Yeah, I'm
if I
sorry.
can, I just want to really quickly do an exercise. So we have several people watching. I see you, Paula. Welcome. I see you, Shanika and Sharon, and Alexis and Dennis. Would you guys do me a favor? Who wants me to put in their address, like your zip code? Somebody drop your zip code in the chat so that I can go ahead and check and we can see if your area is in a hub zone. He's already told me that my area is in a hub zone, so I know it, but I want to check and see if your area is in a hub zone. So if somebody will drop your zip code in the chat, I'll actually go ahead and search it live and let you know if you are in a hub zone. But go ahead, Tori, while you keep talking.
Okay. So drop in 35201.
Okay.
35201. See if that pops up for you.
Okay. All right. Qualified hub zone.
There you go. There you go. So that's how easy it is to find out if your business is in a hub zone. Here's the catch. 35% of your employees also have to live in a hub zone. Not necessarily the same hub zone that you're in, but they have to live in a hub zone. So underserved business area serving underserved business area workers as well. They can live in another zip code. You could have people in another part of the state
Mhm.
as long as
So
they.
I actually put in my hometown. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, so I just put in the zip code, and I see that we are a qualified hub zone. But I noted that it actually is only until July of 2026.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And I
ma'am.
saw that it was a different date for the one in Alabama. So you help us understand?
All hub zones are not permanent. All hub
Okay.
zones are not permanent. Some places are given a temporary designation for a sliding number of years that money will be pumped in, or that this designation is available. So uh, you want to make your moves while you're still in a hub zone. You want to clarify your availability for these contracts while you're in a hub zone, and you want to see what other certifications you need to match with that. Because if your hub zone is disappearing, so to speak, are you still listed as a small business? If you're a veteran, then you're veteran owned. Are you service disabled veteran, which means
Mhm.
that you had any type of injury while serving your country?
Mhm.
Are you woman owned? Are you uh, DBE? Are you 8A? Are you any of these things that are listed on the SBA website as a certification eligible person? Are you in a mentor protege uh, partnership where a larger company is mentoring you to get into this industry?
So, Tori, this is really, really good. So, we've already established that it's time for us to make sure that we are ready, that we don't be, getting ready, that we stay ready, right? So,
Yes,
after we have actually established our businesses, so that means, so y'all, we out of kindergarten now. So we
right.
have, our businesses established with the federal government, meaning we have our EIN. We've actually registered with a state, right? So we're
Hmm.
we're doing business, and now we're about to work on getting our certifications. And
Hmm.
so at a minimum, you were saying that we should look at getting our DBE certification
Yes,
because it's free.
yes.
Then once we get our DBE certification, does that automatically now put us on this list to get communication as it relates to what's available? Or do we actually need to go a step further and register to make sure that we're on a list to get that communication?
We always need to go a step further. Here's the further steps. Not only do you need to register, you need to call the office personnel, whoever the contact is for the DBE, and you need to start asking qualifying questions. When is your next event? How do I network? How do I get in front of these people? Look, just because you're on a list does not mean that you'll be selected. People need to see your face. They need to see your product. They need to see how you present yourself. They need to shake your hand and look you in the face, because I don't look on a list and just say, hey, I'm going to go do business with Torin Brazel. I'm going to meet Torin. I'm going to see the way that she carries herself, the way Mr. and Mrs. Brazel do business, and I'm going to form an opinion based on what I see with my two eyes and what I've seen on reviews and what I've seen and heard from the community, and I'm going to do business with them. Remember, contract administrators at the end of the day, they're people just like us. They choose who they want to work with, and I'm not saying that they have favoritism, but what happens, Torn, when we all bid $100 an hour for this particular service? What happens when 100 people bid on this and 12 of them all bid the exact same thing? How do you choose now? You choose the one that you trust and have a relationship with, the one that you met at a networking thing, that actually came dressed appropriately, spoke well, had equipment parked in the parking lot, had a portfolio showing past work, had great reviews, had a website, had a Facebook, sent a letter of recommendation. All of those same things. Being on the list gets you nothing but your name on a list. You don't go and choose every time I see you, your hair is laid. You didn't choose your salon because it was on a list. So why do we think as minorities, our business is going to be chosen because we signed up? You got to show up. You got to show up ready. You got to show up eligible. You got to show up not on the list. You need to be at the top of the list of past performance and recommendations where people are saying, Brazel is 5-star. She did this for me. So one of the things is we don't know how to tell people what we do.
Mm,
We
mm.
show up. I go to networking events, and there are more people standing around the corner, around the wall, and eating free food and drinking free drinks. So you got dressed up, went to a networking event, but you were too afraid to go up and introduce yourself. You were too afraid to mingle. You were too afraid to hand out business cards. You were too afraid to take the stage when they said, would anyone like to talk about their business? You were too afraid to put up your roll-up banner or and do anything that represented your business. So you went there for snacks.
So you
You
know
went there
what,
for free
Tori? Let's
wine
go
and
back.
snacks.
Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's because you camping out here with networking, and this is so good because one of the things that my grandmother used to always tell me is that people will never care how much you know until you know how much you care. And what I have found is that people will forget what you do, but they will not forget how you made them feel, one way or the other, right? And
Yeah.
so this networking is real, but y'all, I want you to know that it's okay if you are just now getting started and you're getting out, and you might be one of those people that's hanging back on the wall with your beverage and eating the food, because it could be that you're just nervous and you don't know where to start and you don't know what to do. So, Tori, let's talk through, how do you like ease your way in, right? So I'll share some of the things that I do because I was just over in Atlanta last week at a major event. And y'all know I'm the Facebook queen and the Zoom diva, right? And when I'm in my comfort spaces, honey, I flow. I'm able to move, I'm able to network, I'm able to show up and own the room. But I'm telling y'all that last Thursday, Miss Torin went to an event and it was like the giants and the titans of the nonprofit industry. And for a few minutes, I froze. I felt this uneasiness, right? And uncomfortableness that I have not felt in years. Like I don't even remember feeling this. It's just how like new it was for me right now. And it took me a minute. Now it didn't take me long, but it did take me a minute. And I just was like, sort of like praying. So I don't know what y'all think is, but I was like, okay, God, you got to help me because I did not drive all the way over here not to get what you had for me. Right. And so I was able to press through and to really, just sort of get the jitters out and be able to really network to the point to where, people were like reaching out to me on LinkedIn and all the things. But I just want you to know, because we're here to help you. We're not here to put you down. We're here to help you understand how do you do this, right? So a few things that are helpful to me when I go, I actually made sure, because I'm terrible with business cards. So I actually created my actual contact card in my phone, and I share that with people. If you have an iPhone, you can literally bump your iPhone up against someone else's and share your contact card with them, whether they want to share their information with you. You also can make sure that you have a LinkedIn profile. So Facebook, and we're streaming today on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, right? But Facebook and YouTube are the two spaces where if we're going to, have long trainings and things like that, I'm going to use those two platforms. But LinkedIn is a professional site. So it's like short spurts, right? But people will literally connect with you these days or want to connect with you on LinkedIn. So you definitely want to make sure if you don't have a LinkedIn account that you go ahead and establish one. So number one, create a digital contact card. And it's literally, it's nothing deep, y'all. Create a contact card for yourself like you would with someone else. Put your name, your title, your telephone number, your email, your website, all of the things, and save it in your phone as a contact. And then you can share that with other people. The second thing is you want to do a LinkedIn account, right? Create your LinkedIn account. So when someone you say, can we connect? Are you on LinkedIn? You're able to do that, right? So that way, if you're uncomfortable asking somebody for their, cell phone number or sharing your information with them, y'all can at least stay connected via LinkedIn. And then the last thing that I would say is just view these people as, maybe some of your classmates, right? Remember when you were in school, if nothing else, you said hello. You may be able to compliment someone on their attire. You may, if someone is speaking or if they actually shared something, sort of piggybacking off of that or complimenting them on whatever it is that they shared. I'm telling you, there are always ways for you to engage, find your comfort spot. But make sure when you go to these events, if you don't do anything but connect with 3 people that you did not know, I think is a good start. But Tori, I'm gonna let you jump in and sort of give some of your thoughts around that.
Okay, look, I'm not as soft as the way you said it. I love the way you framed it. But look, you said when you went in the room, you were uncomfortable for a moment. Correct? Uncomfortable is where you should be. When you're always comfortable in the room, you might be in a room that's too small. My comfortable shirt, it's the one that's worn out. My comfortable shirt is the one that I've been in so long that it fits me too well. When I go somewhere that makes me elevate, I've jumped up into the right arena. I don't get in business to be comfortable. I'm not selling blankets. Look, if you're going to go, show up. If you're gonna go and hang on the back wall, you remember when before we found the Lord, you remember we used to be at the club. If you're gonna go stand on the back wall, what you doing there? Go participate. Nothing has called you in your life to be comfortable.
Oh,
They
that's
make you.
so
They,
good. So I
they
think
make you.
let's say this. Let's make sure they know this. They deserve to be in those rooms.
Yes,
They were born to be in those rooms. I
yes.
think that I know and I just, because I'm here to to give us the grace, right? That nobody has ever given us. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is, Tori. But I'm telling you, what I have learned is that the system, right, is not broke. This crap is working exactly the way that it was designed to work. And all of the systems within it work to perpetuate it. And so we have been told time and time again as a people that we are not enough. Right. And there is, I'm telling you, at 47 years old, real talk, I am literally pausing with every thought and saying, okay, now wait a minute. Am I thinking like this because this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I about to respond because this is the way I'm supposed to respond? Or am I thinking and about to respond to this because this is how I was trained to? I'm telling you, this is what, and I haven't always been here, but I really actually realize the depravity of what we were born into and all of the things that are working against us. And that's where my softness comes from. Is because I just know that it's so much crap that's stacked against us that we never could have
I
even imagined
know.
or known.
Look, I empathize with all of that, and I do, and I love your way about it. But we have to tell our people the truth. Look, we gonna have Torin and Tory in the morning. We gonna have to tell them because we're on opposing we got opposing views on this. Do you remember the game? Does anybody in the chat remember the game Hungry Hungry Hippos? Y'all remember that game as kids, and you would press the button as fast as you can, and you would get as many marbles as you could, and the person that had the most at the end, they won. Well, when you go into these rooms, you got to start pressing your button. I understand grace, but the marketplace is not going to give you grace. Federal contracts, they're not going to wait until you feel comfortable to award the contract. They're not going to wait until, oh, well, there's somebody over in the corner that we didn't speak to. They're not there to meet you. You're there to meet them. They've already been established. You got to walk into the room praying and already saying, Lord, if I'm afraid, give me courage. There's nothing wrong with being afraid, but courage is not the absence of fear. It's me going into action with God on my side in the presence of fear. I got to get big even when I'm afraid. So we don't have time to wait on grace. The Bible says that he has given us everything we need for life. Everything. So you got it in you. You just got to press the button and activate. So I understand that you want to stand on the back of the wall and observe. And that's a great strategy for a moment. Observe. Do your work before you get there. Know who's supposed to be in the room. When you get there, scan to see who is in the room. When you find out who is in the room, make yourself available to who is in the room. Get courageous, get brave. Now, we can wait on amazing grace, but you know when people are made comfortable, you know when they do that, that's when you about to die. They say, all we can do is make them comfortable. We can't wait to be comfortable no more. The system is set up against you. You're right. The system is set up against you. So you're going to wait for the system to correct itself? Like you said, it's working perfectly. You got to get bigger than the obstacle against you. The hurdles in your life are made to make you jump. Do it afraid. That's right, Paquita. Do it afraid. Do it afraid, because if you're waiting to get unafraid, the opportunity may be gone. The Bible says, I will open up a window and pour you out a blessing. What do windows do? They open and close. Your blessing may close while you're waiting to get comfortable. You better do it afraid. Now don't see this is why I don't fool with you, Torin. Don't have me up in here.
Look, but I didn't look. I'm ready for Torin and Tory in the mornings. I'm telling you, because
do it afraid.
Man, this is so good. All right, so we're going to just, because we want to give them some tips, because we got to show them how to get to this money, right? Okay. So we have done, that we didn't even make step one, filing your business and all of that, because we beyond all of that, right? Okay. So we have gotten our, business, our EIN. So we filed with the federal government. We've registered with the state. We've been working on our credit, so that we can be positioned to be able to go after capital. Now it's time for us, while we're working on our credit, to also go ahead at a minimum and get our DBE certification. For those that are just joining us, tell us again, what does DBE stand for?
Disadvantaged Business Enterprise.
So a disadvantaged business enterprise. Okay. Yes. So once we get our DBE, then we want to go ahead and we want to register, right? To make sure that we're on list. And I see now, guys, we're here in Alabama, but what we're showing you and what we're sharing, this works everywhere. Yes, but Tory, I noticed that you actually dropped an Alabama buys in the chat. So I want to give you an opportunity to share a little bit about this.
Okay, Alabama Buys is the procurement site for the state of Alabama, showing you what your state is purchasing. So sam.gov, Uncle Sam, System Administration Management, that's where the federal government is buying. That's one of the sites. So imagine that the government buys everything, but there's different levels of government. There's your federal government, there's your state government, there's your local government. So locally, let's just say I live in Tuscaloosa County. So I'm gonna put in Tuscaloosa.com, and this is just because this is where I live. So this is what I would do. I would find out what my municipality is buying. I would
Mm-hmm.
find out what my state is buying. I would find out what my federal government is buying. But then I would also find out what large institutions are buying,
Mm-hmm.
because those things are not always going to be on all of these sites. So sam.gov, even though it's the master, the big site, it only has about 20% of all things that you could bid on. It's so massive, no site has everything. No site has everything. So I want to find out what the people at the mayor's office are buying. I want to find out what the county commission of the county that I live in is buying, because the county and the city have their own money. But then my school system may have their own money. I've got
Mm-hmm.
state, I've got county schools. They've got a board with a budget. I've got city schools. I've got parochial schools. I've got Montessori schools. I've got all these different things. And I want to bid in those different systems. So I need to find the systems that are unique to where I live. So if you're on the Tuscaloosa.com, you would go to the business tab and you would click on business, and you would come down to see view bid postings. And right there, you would go down and see current solicitations. So in those current solicitations, you see the things that are open for bid right now, but also look at closed solicitations. These are all the things that you already missed out on, because you don't even know what's going on in your own backyard. And
All
these are,
right.
these are
So
just
this
recent.
this is really good, and I'm telling you, we finna do Tory and Torrance in the morning. Just so you know, it's coming. But we only got 9 minutes left. And so
Yes,
what
ma'am.
we want to do is we want to make sure, because we promised them that we were going to help them understand how to get to the money. So we
Okay.
started with number one, get your DBE certifications at a minimum because
Yes.
it's free.
Yes.
And then you want to, and actually, I'm going to update, because number two actually should be for you to then register, right?
Mhm.
With your the federal, that's sam.gov,
Yes.
your state,
Yes.
your county, your city, right?
Yes.
And I think even your school boards may have
Yes.
some opportunities that are available.
Any
And
large organization, if you live near a university, they have a procurement office. That's separate. Okay, so let me say this: your procurement platform in any of these, they have a floor. So if something is below that floor, meaning on sam.gov it's $25,000. If a bid is out there and it's below $25,000, it's never going to be on listed on Sam. But for you, that $24,870 might be exactly what you're great at and exactly what you need. How do you find it? You find out which organizations, which departments, which agencies need what. So find out the floors of the platforms you're on, and find out how to do a micro purchase below those floors, because micro purchases don't have to be bid. They're done on relationship. I might, if Torin comes in my office and has what I need, I might be able to just swipe my card. I got a purchase card. You don't know my status. I might have a purchase card and buy that $12,000 thing from you right then. It could be that training. It could be that piece of equipment. It could be that I need that temporary officer, or I might need my office painted. I might not have to put that up on some large platform and get it bid. I can do this today. So fiscal years are not calendar years. Fiscal years started at the beginning of the month. So this month of
October.
October, they
Yep.
got more money today than they got starting tomorrow for the rest of the year.
Oh, so this is good. So let's break it down for them, y'all, because and wait, fiscal years are different for a lot of people. So most of your corporations, their fiscal year begins October 1 and it ends on September 30th.
Correct.
Right. So that's typically a lot of your corporations and even the government, they roll from October 1 through September 30th. That's really important because they are making decisions right now today about what they're going to spend next year. If
Yes.
you start talking to them and reaching out to them, even by next March or April, their money has already been allocated,
Yes,
right?
it has.
So it's really important for you to understand what are the fiscal years for these different companies and organizations. The second thing is when we're talking about networking, as Paquita told us, do it afraid, right? Do it
Yep.
afraid. But you've got to make sure you start getting out because relationships are your greatest form of currency. Look, let me tell you something. I have literally now in my career raised $43 million, 40 million for other folks, 3 million for myself and for Ignite. With this year, by the way, I'm so excited, Tori. I literally actually met a professional milestone of raising over $1 million for the first time in 1 year this year, right? But where did that money come from? That money came from relationships that
Yes.
I have built and I have established, right? And so it's really like, it's really important. I need y'all to understand that relationships are your greatest form of currency. And as my grandma used to say, people will never care how much you know until they know how much you care. Now, this next step is number 4 is for you, which is really should have been your first like step, because what you have to understand is that you must have a professional and an active digital footprint, right?
Yes.
Whatever it is that you do, you need to be online and establishing yourself as a subject matter expert. Now, you can be the subject matter expert in your eyes, but it's only going to matter as it relates to how many people are following you and building up. So it's very important for you to have a website, y'all. I don't care if it's just one page. If you guys register with the SBDC, the Alabama SBDC, State of Alabama SBDC, shout out to Andrea Rogers Mosley. They have an amazing partnership with Empower by GoDaddy, and you can literally register, go through their cohort. I think it's like 6 weeks. You go through that for 6 weeks. They will not only show you and help you understand how do you set up your website, how do you set up your social media, how do you put together your marketing strategy. But at the end of that, they're going to give you literally 2 or 3 free years of web hosting, right? You don't have to have this huge, elaborate website. As my grandma used to say, you want to crawl before you walk. But you do need to have one professional page so that when somebody sits down and they Googled you, because please believe that's what they're going to do. Even if you're out networking, they going to turn their back if you are of interest to you, and they going to go to their website. If they have their cell phone out while they talking to you, they're most likely looking at your website, because in today's digital age, the way, and I'm going to date myself, Tori, but remember how we used to go and we would be interviewing. So we would have our black suit for the first interview, our navy blue suit for the second interview, and then you might rock it out with some gray or something sleek in the brown with your third interview, right? Well, at the end of the day, today, your digital footprint is your only interview, right? They're going to look and they're going to see, okay, when I Google this person, what comes up? Do they have a website? Are they on social media? What are they doing on social media, right? Because you can present professionally, right, when in their face, but then they might get to see the real you, right? And I don't know if the real you is really what you want them to see, depending on what
Say
you're.
that again for the people in the back. They are looking at your Facebook, your TikTok. So when you speak eloquently on your Zoom call, but then you twerking on your Facebook,
Up.
they see that and they
Uh,
don't want you.
and it will be immediately denied, right?
Yes.
The next thing is the reason why it's so important for you to register with your. Oh my goodness, I just love Dr. Alice. I just love Dr. Alice. I just do. And she sent you a message too. And yes, Empowerment Summit. So y'all, this is just, I forgot to tell them. Tory is going to be speaking at the sixth annual Empowerment Summit. So thank you, Dr. Alice. So if you have not, make sure, y'all, that you go ahead and you get your tickets today for the Empowerment Summit. You literally need to do that because we are bringing it and it's all about the money. We have Tori that's going to break it down for us on how do we go ahead and get registered for these different minority certifications. And we are come to take action, not to just listen to somebody. I need you to have, because we virtual, so you're going to have your laptop. We literally going to give you time to do it in real time with us. Go to this website, do this, do that. Like, you're leaving with things done. Jimmy Strong is coming. He's going to teach us wealth strategies. Michael Shepard is going to break down the credit. Like, y'all, we not playing. My goal, because I didn't learn, we used to be excited about six figures. Y'all, $100,000 ain't nothing. Because by the time you get finished breaking it down, you lucky if you walk away with $30,000 of that. So my goal next year, Tori, is for businesses at a minimum, right, that are following us here on all these socials. So make sure y'all follow us, Ignite Central, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the places, YouTube, Ignite Central, right? But my goal, we're doing a challenge, $500,000 at a minimum. Because once we get you to $100,000, it's just a matter of having you repeat that, to keep flipping it, to keep going to that next level. I want you to thrive because you deserve it. And one of the things that can really be a game changer for you, as we're here at the top of the hour, is you getting that DBE certification and you literally going ahead and setting yourself apart by registering with your various procurement offices. You have your federal government, your state, your county, your city, your school boards, because all of these entities have a set aside, meaning legally they have to spend so much money with minorities.
Well, hold on,
I
hold on,
suggest
hold
you.
on, hold on.
Oh,
State
go
of
ahead.
Alabama, in the state of Alabama, they do not. They do not. Now, some agencies will try to. The federal government does. Alabama, our blessed state of Alabama, does not have an amount that they have to spend, but a lot of agencies will take it upon themselves to say, I want to do 5% with women. I want to do 5% with veterans. But Alabama is not a set aside state, but the state that you may be watching from may be a set aside state. So check with your state, but that comes with research and networking. Find out what your state requirement is.
Because here's the thing, and we're going to go, even with the networking, even though Alabama is not a set aside state, you have some leaders in these departments that
Yes.
are willing and wanting to do the
Yes.
right thing.
There you
So
go.
if you present yourself and you rise up to the top, boom, the money is yours.
Yes, because
Period.
it's good press for them. It looks good.
Right. And so
Yes.
I'm telling you, this, it is about, because trust and believe, Ignite is here because we are committed to creating a structure that does work for us. And I mean, I'm searching all over, right? There are some amazing folks. Just shout out to my Kindred Futures family, my Runway family. These are two Black led organizations, and these sisters, Dr. Janelle with Kindred Futures and Jessica Norwood with Runway. When I tell you they are bad to the bone, oh my God. Kindred Futures, formerly Atlanta Wealth Building Initiative, I went to their rebrand last Thursday night. So I was at the event in the morning that had me a little nervous. And then at night, I went to celebrate with them with their rebrand and learn that they literally raised and put out into the small Black community $83 million. Do you hear me? 83 million. So that's the next thing as we get ready to go. Go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated. If you are not able to get the business and do the business that you deserve here in wherever you are, right? But I'm just going to say the state of Alabama, and I'll throw out the state of Ohio, right? I'm from Ohio. I live in Alabama. If I'm doing business in any of those places and they are not receiving me, best believe I'm going to look and see, okay, who is looking for some Black businesses and who will support, and I'm going to follow the money. Why not?
Okay.
As
Okay.
Larry Thornton says, why not win?
Look, it takes just as much time to win as it does to lose. You might as well go for it. You might as well go all in for once in our lives. Bet on yourself. Have a structured plan, but bet on yourself for once.
I love this. So, Tori, we're about to go. They've so graciously given us 5 extra minutes of their time. Any closing words or closing thoughts? I do want to say make sure you guys register, Google SBDC, Small Business Development Center in your area, so you can connect, and you literally can just Google and say SBDC and put your city and state in there, right? So that you can find a business advisors amazing like Tory and his team. He works with Apex, which is basically a sister to the SBDC. But these are organizations that the federal government has given a lot of money to help you and help you for free. Right, at no cost to you as it relates to your money, but it
Yeah.
is going to cost you your time. It is going to cost you your commitment to not just listen, but to take action. So
Yeah.
those were my final words, Tori. Do you have any before we let the good people go?
Look, thank you all for listening in wherever you're listening from. What I will say is make a list and hold yourself accountable to that list. Today, I'm going to complete this. Not only check your county and your city, check the counties that surround you. If you can't do business in your state, try a major city that you always wanted to visit. Try Dallas, try Houston, try Atlanta. They're always looking for something and someone that looks like us. You're
Yeah.
not held captive anymore. You're in a global system right now. You are not held in bondage. You can do business anywhere, but
Yeah.
have your paperwork, have your taxes paid, have your credit right. Go. If I
Let's
could tell you anything, go. Go try. Fail early. Fail early. Go find out what's not working and what is working. Keep doing what is working. Stop doing what's not working.
I love it. This has been so good. As we close, I want, if you guys have not, go to igniteempowermentsummit.com. Again, igniteempowermentsummit.com. Tori is coming and it is going to be amazing. If you think he's something, wait till you meet everybody else. I just like everybody, it just be like going from glory to glory. Like everybody is amazing. And y'all, we gonna win. We gonna win. So go and be great and know that you deserve this and so much more. See you soon. Bye.